here's what transpired. His trainer, his real trainer, Mike Tyson's not his trainer. I think everyone knows that. He was there for photo ops. He was there, for, not in a bad way. I mean, it was smart to have him there. Plus, Francis really likes him and was in some ways enamored with him. And so he showed him a few. All of that's positive. He gave him a positive feeling. And that's good. He did his job. Tyson, that is. But the real job was by his trainer, Dewey. I don't know the whole name. I think his name's Dewey. If you could look it up, I want to give him his proper props, or his full props. But he did a hell of a job in technically taking what he had physically and technically giving him...
His name is Dewey Cooper, by the way.
Cooper did a good job.
Yeah.
He did a good job, and he deserves my recognition here from everybody. Where... it's one thing you have the ability, but then, as I've been saying, you have to have a delivery system to get the power to the target. Otherwise, it don't have any value that way from a physical standpoint. And he had to learn certain techniques. And I put it out there. It started with the jab. And he gave him a jab. He had him looking like a guy that you would never believe it was his first pro fight, especially on this kind of stage with the heavyweight champ of the world. What he basically did was he took the talent. He took the talent of Ngannou and he gave him wheels. He gave him wheels to drive to the finish line. He, like a car. He put wheels on it. Yeah, the engine was there, but it had no wheels to get anywhere. He gave that engine wheels. He really did. And he helped Ngannou navigate and know the roadmap to where the hell he was going to drive his car. He did a hell of a job. And Ngannou did a hell of a job as a student. That's another thing. It's one thing to be physically gifted. It's another thing to be smart enough and coachable enough to be able to make changes and adaptations and absorb knowledge. I knew he could. Why? Because 3-4 years ago, I was in the gym. He had asked me to come to the gym when I was in Vegas to train him for one day. And it's out there, the video's out there. And I trained him for one day, as he asked me to. And I saw how coachable, I saw how smart he was. And I kept saying this months ago, that don't sleep on. And listen, I was very straight, as I always try to be, where it was a money grab. They were both grabbing money, no doubt. That's still the same, but it was a dangerous money grab. And you know what? That's exactly the right way to put it. It was, because he had all the things I just laid out there to give himself a chance. To give him, and a better chance than that line from the movie Dumb and Dumber. Where the guy says, what's the chance of you going out with me to some pretty girl? She said, 1 in 400 million zillion to 1. And he goes, so you're saying I have a chance? You're saying I have a chance? Well, he had a real chance. Again, I gave him a chance because of all of that. And what played out? What played out was Dewey Cooper, his trainer, gave him a chance by giving him enough basics. And that was one of the keys. I said, look, his power's not enough. He's got to have a way to get it to the target. A jab, that has to be part of it. And another part, footwork. It's not just what he did, Ken. It's what he didn't do. He didn't lunge. He didn't do what you would expect from a novice in his first pro boxing match, even though he's been a striker for a long time, where he would throw wide punches and take big steps trying to get in all at once because he was excited and he was unknowledgeable in those areas, or unpolished or not polished in those areas, where the biggest threat or danger to him was, and a lot of people thought it would happen, and I was concerned, where he would try to get in all at once, too far away, leave himself open to counterpunches, which Fury controls the outside. He counterpunches really well, where that didn't happen. Why? Because he was taught to take short steps, small steps, not trying to take over large steps where you get there all at once and you leave yourself wide open. Little short steps. Beautiful. Good technique. Good boxing form. The jab, coming in behind the jab, putting bugs on the windshield to keep Fury, his vision blurred, to keep him busy, to keep him from dominating you with his own jab on the outside. All of those things were present in part. And if I went to one physical characteristic, you're not going to guess what it is, Ken. I want you to guess because there's so many of them. Power, this, that, his improvement in that. One physical characteristic that saved the day for him, that really did. It saved
Patience.
the day. Well, patience is part of it, but it's a physical characteristic. It's not a mental, not an emotional one. Now, the patience was part of what allowed him to be in the fight, that he didn't overexert himself. He didn't get carried away with the moment. He didn't try to get it all at once. He didn't try to hit a home run the first time he got up to bat. You know, he just tried to put wood on the ball. And that's the right way to say it. And get on base. So, yeah, patience, control, discipline. But there's one physical characteristic. His chin. His chin.
Yeah.
His chin. His granite chin. He's got that stocky neck like Mike Tyson had. He's got that stocky neck that's a shock absorber to taking punches. And this is a guy who takes punches with 4-ounce gloves. Now he was in there with 10-ounce. They were, you know what the effect those punches had? They had the effect of raindrops on a windshield. They just splashed off. His chin, he got hit some right hands. His chin kept him. His chin, without his chin, who knows what happens? But not what did happen. And he also took an elbow. Because in the MMA, you take elbows. And if that was a regular fighter, and he took that elbow from Tyson Fury, I don't know how he would have acted. The champs, the top guys would have handled it, but it wouldn't have been handled quite as seamlessly, as easily as it was handled by a guy who was an MMA fighter, was a UFC champion, has been hit with them before. So all of that. And again, to Dewey Cooper, the game plan. Here's the game plan. And I'm going to analyze the whole thing and get to who I thought won. And I think that I'm on a button with this. And not everyone's going to like it because it was one of those fights. You're not going to satisfy everyone. But you know what? The good news, I have practice in that area. I lived my whole life not trying to please everybody. So I'm kind of good at that. I'm not too worried about that part. You know what I mean? So if I was with my some of my Italian friends right now, I'd give you that Italian salute that comes from underneath the chin. But I don't believe in doing that stuff here. You know, we want to be gentlemen. We don't want to show any vulgarity in any way. But you know what I mean? Like the ones that don't agree. You know what? You know, along those lines. And with a little motion with the back of your hand, you know, as though you're seeing how good your shave was that morning. But everyone thought that the power would come. They really did a end around on Fury. Everyone thought that the power would come from the right hand of Ngannou. So what did they do? They developed a left hook, a counter left hook that dropped him in the third round. Beautiful counter. Tyson Fury throws the right hand, stays there, split second, bang, left hook on top of the head, back of the head, bad place to get hit. He goes down. But then he does what he always does. He gets up. That's why he's heavyweight champ. That's why he's here. That's why he's making hundreds of millions of dollars, because he gets up. And he got up that first fight with Wilder. The best puncher in heavyweight boxing, hit him on the chin with right hand, his Sunday punch. That left hook, I thought it was brilliant, because everyone's looking for the right hand. And what does he wind up showing? A left hook. And I guarantee you, Tyson Fury had no idea that this guy would be able to show a left hook. No idea. So again, the element of surprise, being smart, having a game plan. all of that, and working to execute it. That all of that, it was just magnificent.